Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Rational National. And in this episode we're going to be talking about, two things. We're going to be talking about Nathan Deal's veto of the religious exemption law in the state of Georgia and North Carolina's stance against the transgender bathroom law. Now, North Carolina has received a lot of backlash from their stance against against stupidity and for the sake of tolerance. And Georgia was also threatened by, several corporations and people in the media, that being Marvel, Walt Disney, and others of that ilk. Now, let me tell you what the problem with this is. It wasn't too long ago that those of us that had common sense understood what a man was a man and a woman was a woman. Like Archie Bunker said at the beginning of the All in the Family intro, boys were boys and men were men. But, it doesn't seem like it's like that anymore. So, for those that don't understand common sense and for the sake of tolerance think that any kind of stupidity or nonsensical, irrationality should be accepted, please understand a few things. Okay, first of all, I am not a bigot because I simply don't believe that my 5-year-old daughter should share the ladies' restroom with a 30, 40-year-old guy who thinks he's a woman. I'm not a bigot because of that. Okay, why? Well, because that guy is the one with the problem, not my daughter, not me, not my wife. Now I want to share something I saw on Facebook here recently, posted by a man by the name of John Buchanan. He painted this scenario out, and I want you to check it out. Okay, your 12-year-old daughter goes to the bathroom at a restaurant by herself. Your daughter doesn't return for a bit, and you go to check on her and hear her crying in a bathroom stall. She runs to you and says a man just touched her privates. You call the police and they investigate. Just outside the bathroom is security cameras that records everyone coming and going to the restrooms. They can't put surveillance cameras in the restrooms. Hello. Okay. Your daughter enters the bathroom, and just behind her enters what, according to the cameras, appears to be a man. The man is identified later in the investigation and is interviewed by police, but says he is transgender, and he was just using the bathroom, and the little girl is lying. If people of both sexes are able to enter the bathroom of their choice, the little girl's statement holds no credibility. It's very important to remember. Her words against his. Now, with the bathroom law in place preventing a person of the opposite biological sex from entering the bathroom of their choice, the little girl's statement is credible, and the offender has to explain why he entered a women's restroom when knowing it was against the law. Hello, Bruce Springsteen. This is maybe the evidence that helps convict the defendant, or maybe the only evidence, period. Now, does this help the liberals to understand? Does it? Does it really help you to understand why we don't want this to happen? It's not that we are intolerant bigots. It's just that we are protecting both women and children. Quit it with that straw man argument. Nobody is a bigot because we don't want men in the women's restroom. So quit playing that card because that card is basically Joker. Okay, so please, let's return to common sense, okay? This is a very interesting scenario painted out by John Buchanan. If the bathroom law is in effect, then, he's not supposed to be there in the first place. He's breaking the law, so it's pretty evident to show who's in the wrong. But if the transgenders have their way, her word against his word against hers, and also it could go the other way. She could be making him out to be the perpetrator, which really he's not. In other words, it creates a whole bunch of confusion. Now, here's the problem. Okay, and please, Bruce Springsteen, put your antennas up, Bryan Adams, Mickey Mouse, and Marvel. Okay, there was a time in this country where, there was something called a unisex bathroom. Men use men, women use women. Look, transgender, if you have the tool, even if it was, surgically put on you, and, I'm not saying that still makes you a, that if you're a man that was born man, and you decided to surgically become a woman, I'm not saying you are a woman, but if you look like a woman, and if you enter the women's restroom, or man, If you used to be a woman and you enter the men's restroom, if I don't know the difference, that's fine. What I don't know won't hurt me. Okay? But here's the problem. With cross-dressers that, really are men, but they're dressing as women and they go into the, women's restroom, this creates a problem. For example, if I put on a Matt Ryan jersey of the Atlanta Falcons, that does not make me Matt Ryan. If I just simply dress as a pirate, that does not make me a pirate. If I put on a, Domino's Pizza uniform, that doesn't mean I work at Domino's Pizza. Likewise, if a man dresses as a woman, doesn't make him a woman. Please use common sense, if that's at all possible. Now, here's the problem. A lot of people don't have common sense anymore. There's an old saying used to say, there's an old saying that says, common sense is not so common. So please, we got to understand something. Is it more important for us to be entertained? Because a lot of these people that are threatening to move businesses, that are threatening to, not entertain us anymore or move their businesses out of state, like Walt Disney, Marvel, that was the case in Georgia. In North Carolina, the NBA has said they're going to move the All-Star Game for 2017 out of Charlotte. We'll take your All-Star Game. We will keep our constitutional rights and our common sense. Now, here's the problem. Is it more, or the dilemma, actually, is it more important for us to be entertained, or is it more important for us to remain as common sense human beings? Because the second that we step across that line and give into this intellectual tyranny, then we have become a part of the problem. And when we start to side with those for the sake of convenience and comfort and just to keep from rocking the boat, then we are guilty just like they are. So please, I want to create a scenario of my own. You have two petite, beautiful women going to a somewhat redneck bar on a Friday night, and they go to use the women's restroom, and three redneck drunk, somewhat aroused guys go into the restroom after them, and which would, if the liberals had their way, would be legal to do so. They go into the women's restroom, and they see two petite women. Hey, redneck number two, you watch the door, and we will do our thing. Now, here's the problem. Just like the scenario Buchanan painted out. The surveillance cameras only show people going in and out. They don't show what's going on inside. And so, in a liberal world, it was legal for those three men to go into the ladies' restroom. And when they go in there, they're going to have their way with those women while somebody watches the door. And her word against theirs, their word against hers, it just creates a lot of unnecessary confusion. Now, in closing up, what is the problem here? The problem is this. Number one, liberals who want a double standard, who think that constitutional rights only apply to them, and, basically corrupt politicians like Nathan Deal. And I call you out, Nathan Deal, because you were sent to Atlanta by conservatives, Republicans, to further and basically support and condone and basically activate liberal conservative Republican values. But you get down there and you side with the liberals and saying, those of us in Georgia just wouldn't be warm and friendly if we passed this religious exemption bill. Let me say this in closing up. Okay, homosexual, you go try to get your wedding cake made. You go to try to get someone to marry you and your whatever, and they refuse. Now, this is the beauty of it. In America, they have the right to refuse. They have a right to choose, just like you have a right to choose. And the beauty of it is, you could go down and find another bakery. You could go down and find another minister. Everybody happy, but you think because you got your feelings hurt and someone did not line up with your propaganda, your liberal agenda, that you should have the right to sue and shut down a church or shut down a bakery. And I'm sorry, but that's just not what America's about. Okay, so get over yourself. The world should not revolve around you, and the world should not be built around you. So go find another bakery, go find another minister, and get over yourself and live and let live. Okay? I do not believe laws should be passed to force someone to participate in a lifestyle that basically, violates their conscience. That's not what America's about. America is about choice. And I know I sound hypocritical when I say this, but it's not. That doesn't mean it's about pro-choice, about killing your child and basically sacrificing the fruit of your womb and not facing the consequence of your sexual reckless lifestyle. But that's another video for another time. So, in wrapping this up, I would like to say, homosexual, Bruce Springsteen, Bryan Adams, okay, you people can try to force your agendas and your propaganda down everyone and force them all you want, but in the end, you say that you are, boycotting a state because they are violating your beliefs. Well, that's just what we're doing. Now, we do not deny your right to do that, and we do not believe that you should deny our right to do that. And in doing so, you can go perform in another state, just like we can deny someone the right to violate our conscience and go find another bakery and go find another minister. So with that being said, this has been the Rational National. God bless everyone. Stay in touch, and remember, we are taking back the world and America one revolution at a time. God bless.